As we look at the landscape of ministry, one of the easiest places to see the different styles is in the pastorate. Of course, they're everywhere. But in the pastorate and how the pastor preaches his sermon, in most cases his, but also hers, how they preach their sermon is often very revealing. One of the pastors in my early vocational career I didn't know it immediately, but he was a high-scoring people person. And all his sermons were about people, and people connecting, and people loving each other, and people caring, and people getting along, and just enjoying one another. So he often preached out of the Gospel of John, for example, or Old Testament stories in which people come together, and they worship God together, and they get along together, and life is gorgeous together. It was very interesting that same pastor was unable to handle conflict situations. People who score high on the people scale tend to avoid conflict, and they have a great deal of difficulty. So when a problem came up, he would often call up the elder to solve the problem, usually on a Thursday night or a Monday night or something, and he would say, I have to go to the cabin for a little bit of rest. Would you take the meeting tonight? And on that meeting was a problem that had to be solved. And so his greatest strengths of loving people and caring about them and just doing everything he could also had an element of limitation to it. My second or third pastor in my career was a process person. His sermons were meticulously prepared, and they were written out, and every word was choreographed, so to speak. And he stopped exactly on time, as a process person would. And he probably had gone through that sermon and read it 5 or 6 times, so he got it exactly right in terms of the 30 minutes that he had allotted himself. And then I had another, actually he was an associate pastor, another pastor. His highest score was action. And he was never in his office. He was always out painting somebody's bathroom, or fixing a faucet, or helping a widow cut her grass or something like that. He was being an action person. That's what action people do. They love to see these things, and they have a wonderful checklist that they just get in their head, usually, checked off. But his sermons then were just about how we ought to get out there and get the will of God active in our life and evangelizing our community, and that was his emphasis. And that reflected an action kind of style. So these are played out in our ministry all the time.